But first we move across to West London, to Loftus Road, where Spurs come out knowing that they face a formidable task, even though their recent record has been most encouraging. And with both teams now on the field and getting the feel of a blustery win, we are ready for Queen's Park Rangers against Spurs, and let's take a check on the two teams. Rangers are unchanged. Spurs have Terry Naylor back after suspension. John Duncan returns after injury to substitute, and Alfie Conn is out through injury. But for Queen's Park Rangers, a unique moment, as 5 of their players are chosen by Don Revie for the England squad for that vital game against Portugal in 10 days' time. And here they are. From the left, Ian Gillard, Jerry Francis, Stan Bowles, Phil Parkes and Dave Thomas. Quite a moment there for Rangers. The referee today is Harold Hackney from Barnsley, and now the crowd is waiting for the start.
And Spurs kick off in a smart outfit, all of yellow, with black facings, attacking the goal to our right. Coming here, I suppose they might admit, or perhaps they wouldn't, as underdogs. They lie 15th in the table, although they've been unbeaten in their last 8. Now facing one of the most, if not the most exciting side in the First Division. Queen's Park Rangers in their blue and white hoops. It's Francis, Chris Jones getting in with a good deal of aggression there and determination, and taking that pass from Ralph Coates very well. Coming in towards Chivers, and Gillard forced to give that a corner away. So Ian Gillard quickly in action, as indeed were Spurs down that left flank. And Ralph Coates will take the corner for them. And Willie Young right in there. So too is Don McAllister. So Coates with the corner. And in fact it was McAllister's head of it. Neither power nor direction. And so Phil Parkes, well, it's early days, but what a display of goalkeeping we should have here today with Phil Parkes in goal for Queen's Park Rangers, and the incomparable Pat Jennings at the other end for Tottenham. High towards Bowles. And Bowles turning to Francis and saying, let's keep it a bit lower in this breeze. Jones with Webb in close attendance, still with Chris Jones, turned there and behind. Showed his danger there, Chris Jones, a young player who's learning all the time. He was very much as a target man for Tottenham, but he gave David Webb something to think about there. Gillard in very positively. Throw finding Jones. Webb's after him, and he's still got in a very good cross towards Ralph Coates, and that very nearly came off for Tottenham. There was some superb play under a lot of pressure there by young Chris Jones, and he got his cross in. Coates was there at the far post, and he was being hustled just enough for Rangers by Mick Leach. Thomas. Ian Gillard. Played again towards Givens. Obviously Tottenham very aware of the problems that Givens can cause in the air, but Willie Young is stuck pretty close to him, but now Givens with a shot. Oh, and what a good one there. A really excellent save there by Pat Jennings. Willie Young had lost Givens for a moment, and Givens almost took full advantage of it. The ball moving quite a bit in the air, and Jennings doing exceptionally well once again to save it. Seems to have carried on from that form of last week. Clintock trying to get in there, but it was Willie Young's header again for Tottenham. Masson trying to play it back for Dave Clement, but Perryman will be there first for Tottenham. And an offside against Jimmy Neighbour. Francis to Thomas. Hasn't really used his pace so far this afternoon. Now maybe he'll do it against Naylor. No. But that's a good pass to Dave Clement. Cross coming in again, and over the top there from Jerry Francis. Played back for Leach. Now for Gillard. Planted forward, onside, a good, well-timed run there by Jerry Francis, and a bit of luck there as Bowles can take it up. Down he goes, no penalty. Francis turning it in. And Leach was almost there again for Rangers, but now Coates can take it away for Tottenham. Good ball there to Jimmy Neighbour. Taking on Gillard, and in the end losing out. Thomas, the short ball to Webb, and now for Leach. A nice little flick there for Francis. This is better. Now for Bowles. A Rangers player down and injured, as Osgood gets up well to head away. In fact, 2 Rangers players are injured. Jones. The referee keeping the play going. Both injured. Chivers now taking it on. And a tremendous shot there. Oh, and Parks only half saved it. And Jones almost came in to finish it off. So now there can be treatment for the injured. One of them is David Thomas on the right. I think that's Ian Gillard, who's flat out. So there's Thomas, the right knee, and I think that's Gillard. Are you all right to go on, he's being asked. I think Dave Clement is shaking his head and saying, no, I don't think he is. And I think Gillard might well have to go off. For a few minutes at any rate. John Hollins, a very experienced substitute, just warming up as a precautionary measure. Dave Thomas all right. McClintock. Givens. And now Perryman, a touch to Chivers. Didn't quite go for him. Always suggesting that it might, though, as Gillard comes back onto the field. Willie Young winning it in the air. Young's job obviously to mark Don Gibbons very tightly. There he goes again, there's Gibbons, and Young right behind him. Masson turning that in. Again, Leach was coming up fast in a blind position. Gillard. Now Pratt. And Chris Jones onside. Now, can Chris Jones make something of this? McClintock's after him. Brilliant defence by McClintock. Well, he showed he got a fair bit of football left in him. Frank McClintock. He caught Jones and tackled superbly to take that ball. Bowles. No foul. Naylor. On for Pratt. Spurs at the moment looking the better side. Now Chivers. Now can he take on McClintock? There's the shot. Punched away that time by Phil Parks. No doubt at all about it that Rangers are thrown out of their stride by the conviction that Spurs are showing and their ability, even though they're playing away from home, to come out and attack them. Coates to Osgood. Dave Clement's header. Now Coates. Well, he's gone past McClintock. Coates. Free kick. Brought down by Clement. Willie Young coming forward now. And as that 6 foot plus of number 5 come forwards, that must mean a threat for Queen's Park Rangers. Givens back there to mark him. Chris Jones! About 3 minutes to go to half-time now. McAllister. Masson. Bowles playing it on for Don Givens. Oh, and he hit the top of the crossbar. Well, Jennings would have had no chance with that. Gibbons, a superb piece of skill as that ball is played on for him. Hit it first time, a sharp angle, right-footed, but with tremendous power against the top of the crossbar. Dave Clement can't play it back because Chris Jones is blocking the way. McClintock finding Masson, and back to Clement again. High ball again towards Gibbons, hardly lifting himself off the ground. And Coates now for Tottenham. A throw given to Tottenham. But before it can be taken, the half-time whistle's gone. Where Spurs have played well, Don Gibbons has been the closest to a goal, though, just hitting the top of that Tottenham crossbar. But probably as good as anybody in the Spurs side has been their number 10, Chris Jones, has been very lively indeed up front, and almost made one or two chances for himself. But Spurs, no doubt, putting Rangers out of their stride by coming forward with so much conviction. Nonetheless, we have a half-time score here at Loftus Road that reads Queen's Park Rangers 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Well, welcome back to Loftus Road as referee Hackney gets us away at the start of the second half. Rangers now attacking the goal to our right, but it's Spurs with John Pratt at the moment. Chivers played on nicely for Pratt, and obviously Spurs intent on going on where they left off in the first half. That's not a bad cross coming in towards Chris Jones, but Clement climbing very well indeed for Rangers. Here's Leach. Stan Bowles played on nicely for Jerry Francis. Well, that should be Pat Jennings' ball, and it is. This Tottenham tackling and chasing and hustling is so disciplined. And here's Chivers. Oh, and a good shot! That really was vintage Chivers, the power of that shot. And I think Phil Parkes was delighted to be able to grab that one to his chest. Pratt, beaten by Leach. Now Young turning it back to Pat Jennings. Now it's Coates for Tottenham. The makings of a very good second half. The throw. Linesman applauded by Martin Chivers, I notice. It's a free kick. Coates. Tottenham's throw. Don McAllister with it. Here's Chivers. McAllister, oh, he's given that one away. Did his best to win it back again. Perryman to Chivers. Played nicely there by Chivers for Pratt. Now on for Neighbour. Really stretching Rangers to the limit at the moment to Spurs. If they came here as underdogs, they're growing with confidence with every minute that's played. Chivers turning on it and grabbed there right at the end by Phil Parkes. And Chivers looking in very sharp form this afternoon. Feet were high there by Clement on Chivers. Good decision again by the referee. Free kick to Tottenham. Chivers feeling that a bit. Really has looked in pretty good form this afternoon. Certainly the efforts there as well. Chasing back in a defensive role, as well as looking for goals too. And that's a young lady looking for goals, but from another angle. McClintock's header. Perriman. Neighbour. To Naylor. Crossed in again towards Perriman. Chris Jones, he'd almost got it on the turn. He almost got it on the turn again, and somehow Park saved him. He's a real hustler, that Chris Jones. And he very nearly made a chance for himself there. Tremendous credit to him, and he's a real worker. And in the end, he was denied by Phil Park's bravery. So a corner then to Tottenham. Curled in once more. Willie Young's right in there. But here's Jimmy Neighbour. Well, can he do something? Perriman. They're really carrying this fight to Queen's Park Rangers. Well, that was a nice back heel by Gibbons. And away you go. Queen's Park Rangers through Don Masson. Tried a long sweeping ball towards Stan Bowles, but it was caught on the wind. And it's Perriman now for Tottenham. Well, they confused each other, and John Pratt was not confused. Coates. Free kick. Now Masson. Here's Francis. Webb. Meanwhile, Martin Chivers off the track, off the pitch rather, getting a bit of treatment, and John Duncan warming up, the substitute. Masson, good ball there to Thomas. Caught it well, and it took the deflection, and it almost fooled Willie Young. Leach is right in there too, and Rangers get a throw. 11 minutes of the second half gone. And I think it's Leach needing a bit of treatment. And John Duncan, in fact, is taking his tracksuit off, and I think that's the last we should see of Martin Chivers going down that tunnel. Terry Neal, the Spurs manager there, just making sure, just giving Duncan his instructions. Well, he's done pretty well. I think that signal from Terry Neal said a few things. Keep that going. So John Duncan's on. He's got 5 goals this season. Thomas, Masson. Again, as Perriman went into him, it's an example of the way Spurs are hustling. They're not allowing Rangers time to think or breathe. But that's on the back cross there. Oh, and a beautiful one-handed save by Jennings. That really is his speciality, with those mighty hands of his. He clasps the ball almost like a tennis ball. Beautiful piece of goalkeeping. Pratt, Naylor, Duncan with a header. Well, the only thing that's lacking at the moment are goals. There's been an awful lot of skill and an awful lot of wholehearted play, and a tremendous amount of effort, particularly from Tottenham. Some of the wrong sort there, I think, by Steve Perriman, giving Rangers that free kick. Don Givens and Willie Young jumping for this one. And Don Givens really giving the referee a ticking off there right in front of him. Felt that he was unfairly dealt with by Willie Young there, but now it's Chris Jones for Tottenham. He's hurdled past McClintock, and there's a good shot. Oh my goodness! Well, that would have been one of the goals of the season if that had gone in. Jones, who seems to get better with every game, went past McClintock, finally got it onto his left foot and unleashed a tremendous shot. And how close it was. Bowles trying to get the better of Young, and Young sticking well to him, helped by Naylor. Oh, and Bowles retaliating badly there on Willie Young. The linesman quickly there to intervene. The referee arriving now, and Willie Young saying that he was kicked by Stan Bowles. And Bowles' frustration showing there. And the referee and the linesman are now getting together to talk it over. Now, will Bowles be in trouble? The linesman surely would have seen it because it was right in front of him. It's a free kick there. And the referee takes no action. Oh, yes, he is. I think he might be calling Stan Bowles over to him. The game won't start. He wants to have a word with Bowles. Stan Bowles doesn't know it yet, but the referee, I think, wants to have a word with him. I think the referee is not looking at the free kick position. I think he wants to have a word with Stan Bowles. Now, I can't think what's happening here, but yes, he's calling Stan Bowles and Willie Young over to him. And he's given him a good bit of Yorkshire. Harold Hackney, who comes from Barnsley. Well, thank goodness it ended that way. It could have been much worse. Now, Francis again taking it from Clement. Free kick, booking, and Jerry Francis angry with the way that he was dealt with, but the referee was all reaching in his book. And Willie Young's name will go into the referee's book for that foul on Jerry Francis. That's the foul. Back for Pratt. The early ball going in. Jones trying to dummy around it. Neighbour again. Chance again to way up this cross. Chris Jones with a header. Perryman with a shot. Well, we've seen Perryman several times before in his career come in on that sort of shot and hit a volley screaming into the roof of the net. But that time it finished high on the back of the terraces. McAllister lost that to Bowles. A bad place to lose the ball, especially to a player like Bowles, and he gave Bowles a nudge there. And it's still, oh my goodness, that was nearly the craziest goal of the season there, as that ricochet came off a Rangers, off a Spurs player, and Jennings somehow managed to grab it, but it still went over for a corner. Well, that was a remarkable incident. So, a corner again for Queen's Park Rangers. About 6 minutes to go. Deep again towards Jerry Francis. Spurs come out so quickly from those corners. Again, they're giving Rangers no time at all to develop anything. But maybe Bowles can do something here. There he goes. Nothing given. Leach planting it in again. And there's Webb on the far side. Almost got in. There's a fair bit of arm waving going on in the Spurs bench at the moment now. They know they're a matter of a minute or so from a very good point indeed. And who knows, they might even snatch a second one as Neighbour turns that in. But Phil Parkes is there. Now they've got to come back, because Thomas is on his way. And Coates was after him. Still with Thomas, and he's gone past McAllister too. No, he didn't. But he got a corner for Rangers as we come to the last minute of the game. So if it's going to happen for Rangers, it's got to happen now. Thomas with the corner. Everybody back for Tottenham, and nearly everybody up for QPR. Dave Clement there. Oh, and it went! Finally off the head of Jerry Francis, somehow into the arms of Pat Jennings. A backward header by his own man, in fact. And Jennings then just managed to grab that ball as it hit Jerry Francis. So there's a fair bit of shouting and a fair bit of arm waving going on, as Spurs know that they're almost there, with a point that I think only their most ardent supporters could have seen them getting today, although their away form hasn't been bad, and they've had an unbeaten run of 8 games. Well, can Chris Jones do something here? He can't, because McClintock gets it away. Here's Givens. Oh, and Givens is retaliating there. And I don't know whether Givens is being called across. Yes, I think Don Givens' name is going to go into the book as well. So Willie Young's name has gone in. Don Givens' name has gone in. All right, Terry, I heard him say, or saw him say. Get an idea of how blustery it is to see the way that notebook is fluttering about as well. That's twice Mr. Hackney's had to flutter it out, though, to take 2 names. And a free kick to Tottenham. A look at the watch. And there goes the final whistle. And a very good draw indeed for Tottenham. And one they thoroughly deserved. The way they chased and hustled and never allowed Rangers to develop anything at all or to get into their stride, and showed a fair bit of style and spirit themselves. Willie Young playing well in that defence, learning with every game he plays down here in the First Division. And so we come after a really excellent goalless draw. A final scoreline then: Queen's Park Rangers 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0.